The lights in the parking garage only flicker when you're not alone. I started noticing the flickering about 2 months after I took the promotion. It was small at first, a quick stutter of the overhead lights when I walked through the lower levels of the parking garage after a late shift. I thought it was electrical. I joked to coworkers that the building was haunted, but no one laughed. They just gave me that look people give when they know something and wish they didn't. I figured they were just messing with the new guy who'd traded daylight hours for after midnight grind. But then the pattern started. It wasn't random flickering. It was consistent. Every 3 steps, the light behind me would buzz and blink. Not ahead, not above, always behind. Like something was timing it to my pace. I tried stopping once to see what would happen. The lights stayed on. I took another step. Flick. Another. Flick. It was like something just outside my vision was following, mimicking, pacing me. I started parking closer to the elevators, even though the upper levels were always full. But I was always the last one to leave. And the flickering always found me, no matter where I parked. Then one night, it escalated. I'd stay later than usual, reports, client filings, the kind of paper trail no one else wanted to clean up. The garage was empty except for my car and one SUV I didn't recognize, parked in spot P437. That night, the lights didn't wait for me to walk. They started stuttering as soon as the elevator doors opened. The flickers were slower, steadier. Like a warning. I walked faster. The lights buzzed harder, popping in and out behind me as I moved past each row. When I reached my car, I had the strange feeling that if I looked behind me, I'd see someone standing where I had been 30 seconds ago. Only they'd still be standing. Still walking. Still following. I got in the car. Slammed the door. And in the side mirror, I saw my own reflection smiling, though I wasn't. The next morning, I told security what happened. The guard didn't laugh. Didn't smirk. He handed me a folded sheet of paper with trembling hands and said, "Don't read it here. Read it at home. And park above P3 from now on." I waited until I got back to my apartment, locked the door, and opened the paper. Rules for surviving the flicker man. 1. If the lights flicker every 3rd step, do not stop walking. It's not random. He's pacing you. 2. Never park in P437. That spot belongs to him. 3. If you hear footsteps that echo too late or too soon, don't turn around. Run. 4. Check the back seat before entering your car. Twice. 5. If your reflection doesn't match your expression, do not break eye contact until the mirror fades. 6. If your car radio turns on by itself and says your name, disconnect the battery before responding. 7. If you ever see yourself waiting by the elevator, turn around and take the stairs. And don't speak. Since reading those rules, things have changed. The flickers still happen. But now, I hear a breathing, not mine, when I enter the garage. It's ragged, wet, like someone with water in their lungs standing just a few feet behind me. I never see anything. But once, I found a smudge on my rear window shaped like a hand. The prints were wrong, too long, too wide, like someone stretched them after death. I don't remember touching the glass. And worse, my reflection did. Last week, I parked on P2. Thought I was safe. But the lights flickered as soon as I stepped out. No rhythm. Just one long buzz, like they were stuck in between. I looked toward the far end of the level. There, half in the dark, was a man in a suit. He looked like me. Same build. Same face. But his tie was too long. And he didn't blink. He raised a hand and waved, slow and stiff like his bones didn't know how to move anymore. I left the car. Took the elevator back up and walked home. 3 miles in the rain. That night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. The voice was mine. It whispered, "You forgot your keys." I don't know what the flicker man is. A mimic. A shadow. A curse tied to concrete and fluorescent light. All I know is this: the deeper you go, the closer he gets. And if you ever meet your own eyes in a reflection that shouldn't exist, you've already made a mistake. He's not fast. He's not loud. He waits. Watches. Learns your rhythm. Counts your steps. And when the lights go out all at once, that's not darkness. That's his mouth, opening. You don't hear teeth. You don't feel breath. You feel the temperature change, like when a freezer door opens behind you, and for a moment, you believe something just brushed the back of your neck. You tell yourself it was your hair. Or air pressure. Or nothing. But your bones know better. They vibrate in strange rhythms you can't explain. Like they're remembering something you forgot. That night, When I walked out of the stairwell, the parking garage felt thinner. Like the space between objects had changed. The concrete didn't echo like it used to. My footsteps sounded muffled. Heavy. As if I was walking through fabric. And though I was alone, I mean visibly, undeniably alone, there was this unshakable presence, like a pair of invisible hands hovering just inches from my throat. I walked to my car. No flickers this time. Just silence. The kind of silence that creeps under your fingernails and starts clawing up your arms. When I opened the driver's side door, I saw something on the seat. A key. Not my car key, a long brass skeleton key, rusted and wet, as if someone had dragged it through a swamp. Attached to it was a scrap of receipt paper, torn unevenly and smeared with something that looked suspiciously like dried blood. On it, one word. Follow. My hands didn't move. My heart, though, that thing was sprinting. I didn't take the key. I backed away. Got into the car, locked the doors, turned the ignition, and the radio came on instantly. No static this time. Just my voice, again. Calm. Whispering. Don't leave yet. He wants to show you something. I threw the car in reverse. All 4 tires locked. The engine whined, the lights on the dash flickered like mad, and for a split second, just long enough to be real, my reflection in the rearview blinked out. Not black. Not empty. Just gone. Like someone cut me out of the world with a razor blade. And in my place? A smiling mouth. Only a mouth. Stretched wide. Glimmering with moisture. Human enough to fool you, but wrong enough to keep you awake. I left the car running and got out. Something in me, something I don't like to admit still exists, told me to take the key. So I did. And the moment my fingers touched it, the garage changed. All the overhead lights turned red. Not blinking. Not burning out. Just glowing, humming, like blood vessels pulsing above concrete veins. And the world tilted. Not a metaphor. I had to lean into the slant. The garage had warped. Every wall pulled inward like a collapsing throat. At the far end of P4, past the numbered spots, the concrete had cracked, and a door stood in the wall where no door had ever been. Steel. Bolted. Wide open. Inside was black. But not empty. Something moved in there, slow and wet, dragging something metallic behind it. I heard chains. Bones. Maybe teeth. A sound like someone licking aluminum foil. I stood frozen for what felt like minutes, until my ears started to ring and blood leaked from my nose. When I finally turned back toward the elevator, toward the living, breathing world, I saw him. The Flicker Man. He was closer than he'd ever been before. No longer hiding behind stuttering lights or rearview mirrors. He stood in front of the elevator, backlit by nothing, outlined in shadow that moved independently of him. His body was shaped almost right, human in the way a mannequin is, but his arms were too long, and his hands hung too low, fingers scraping the concrete with soft, deliberate strokes. And where a face should be. That wide, yawning mouth again. And it was open. Not in aggression. In invitation. The key in my hand began to heat up, searing my palm. I dropped it. It bounced once and skittered into the dark. That was 2 nights ago. Since then, I haven't left my apartment. The lights in my kitchen now flicker every 3rd step. There's a new door in my hallway, one I never noticed before. And sometimes, I hear me calling from behind it. Begging to be let out. Saying the garage followed me home. Saying the mouth never really closed. And I believe it. Because when I look in the bathroom mirror at night, my reflection doesn't blink anymore. It just watches. And smiles. It doesn't just smile anymore. It moves. My reflection. The one in the mirror. It started by blinking a half second too late. Just enough to make me pause. Then it began delaying. Mirroring my actions like it had to think about what I was doing first. One night, I reached up to scratch my temple, and it didn't move at all. It just stood there, watching, as if fascinated by the idea of pretending to be me. And then, slowly, it raised its hand, not to its head, but to its mouth. And pulled something out. It was a tooth. Mine. Bloodless, like it had been soaked in ice water. The reflection held it between 2 fingers, held it up like a trophy. I touched my lips, panicked, and yes, one of my molars was gone. No pain. Just the absence. I backed away, and the reflection didn't follow. It just tucked the tooth into its mouth and smiled wider. I haven't looked into that mirror since. But I hear it sometimes. At night. The sound of a mouth moving, chewing, whispering my own voice, practicing how I speak, testing out new ways to say my name. I tried leaving the apartment, packed a bag, called a cab. But the driver never arrived. Instead, a black car with fogged-out windows rolled up to my building. I stood on the sidewalk, phone in hand, staring at the car. Its engine wasn't running. The windows didn't roll down. But from inside, I could hear the radio playing, not music. Not talk radio. Breathing. Wet. Heavy. Like lungs too full of something trying to be alive. And underneath that? My voice again. Saying things I've never said. I never got in. I went back upstairs. That's when I saw the second door. It was at the end of the hall, the one that's always led to the laundry room. But now it had a brass knob, a fresh coat of paint, a welcome mat. Like someone moved in overnight. When I leaned close, I heard a humming, low, pulsing, almost like the garage lights when they flickered. I put my ear against the wood. I shouldn't have. Because on the other side, I heard my mother's voice, calling to me again. She's dead. Has been for years. But this time she wasn't whispering. She was screaming. Begging me not to open it. Saying, "It's not me. It's not your face. You are not you anymore." Her voice cracked into static, then stopped. And something knocked from the other side. Just once. I left. Locked the bedroom door. Blocked it with furniture. But the knob on that hallway door has started to turn at night. Always at 3:33 a.m. Every night since, I've found something new left on the kitchen counter. A set of car keys I don't recognize. A photo of me sleeping. A half-eaten apple with teeth marks wider than any human mouth. And once, God help me, a wallet. My wallet. But inside were IDs I've never had, all with my face. But slightly different. Different hairstyles. Different eye colors. One of them had no name. Just the word returned printed in bold black ink. The walls are thinner now. I can feel them breathe. My phone screen sometimes shows messages I didn't write. One said, "He's in now. But he's still pretending." Another just said, "Smile for the mirror." The worst came last night. I woke up not in my bed, but in my car. Parked underground. The dashboard clock blinked 0 o'clock. The lights above me flickered, slow, deliberate. Every third second. Just like before. In the rearview mirror, my reflection didn't show. Instead, I saw the parking garage door, open again, and the quarter behind it yawning like a throat, pulsing, wet, and full of movement. The key was in the ignition. The same brass skeleton key. I ran. Left the car. Took the stairs up through 5 levels, even though there are only 4. I ran until my lungs ached and my knees bled. When I reached the lobby, the receptionist asked if I was alright. Said I looked pale. Said I had a visitor waiting in the mirror across the hall. I haven't left the apartment since. Haven't slept in 2 days. I've locked every door, unplugged every screen, covered every reflective surface. But I know he's still here. I see him now in the shine of the faucet. In the black of the powered-off TV. In the glint of my own eyes when I pass a window too quickly. He's patient. He's learning. And soon, he'll know how to move just like me. Talk just like me. Laugh just like me. He'll go to work. He'll answer my phone. He'll drive my car. He'll wave to my friends. He'll hold my mother's hand on her grave. And eventually, someone will say, "You seem different lately." And he'll smile. Exactly like I used to. But they won't know. They never do.